Everyone. I feel like I should have rehearsal. I'd like to call to order the Nantucket School Committee meeting of Tuesday, December 16th. And you have before you an agenda. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And this meeting is being audio and video recorded. So now is the time for public comment. And before we begin, Katie, do we have a list? And we do want to ask, and again, we appreciate all of you being here, that if you have already spoken and there are people that are beyond you that have not spoken, if we could let those people speak first if they have not been heard. Yeah. Thank you, Katie. Oh, it's short. Okay. Okay. All right. It's not that long. So, I'm sorry. I suppose I should say, is there any public comment? Yes, there is. Madden? You're going to go last. Okay. Okay, so looking at this, I do see some names that have not spoken, so I'm going to go to Annie Ard.
What's the second name?
My name is Annie Ard. I'm here today to talk about accessibility. My father has a T4 spinal injury, which means he's paralyzed from the nipple line down, which has made participating in normal high school experiences incredibly hard for both of us. I'm a senior in high school and a cheerleader, and during my 4 years in high school, my father has had to go to excessive lengths to watch the top 1/4 of my head from the bleachers, farthest away from the cheerleaders because there's only one section in handicap where the people have a railing directly in their eye line. Now, my dad drives down the track and asks for forgiveness, but other handicapped people don't, or can't go to those lengths. They park in the designated handicap spots and have to go down the hill, which is incredibly steep, and guarantees you an almost 100% fall. If you do somehow manage to survive the hill, then you have to face wheeling down the gravel and dirt, which is incredibly rough and resistant against wheelchairs. During my senior game, my father was told to wheel down the hill and the field, which is an arduous task. But being told to move down inch by inch every few seconds is like moving against a current. It's not something able-bodied people think about. I'm here to express the need for new facilities, not only for the clear need of our student athletes, but also for our spectators who are often overlooked. Our current facilities prohibit most from attending and experiencing essential events. Being disabled is hard enough, and I'm just a part of one family. We need a solution for our whole community so that no one else has to face the possibility of not having their parents watch their games. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Tucker Holland? You're not? Okay. Madison Massey?
Good evening. My name is Madison Massey, and I was on the JV girls soccer team this past season, and I will be entering the high school in the fall. I feel very strongly that the turf field is the right decision for our community. After spending the season practicing and playing on the NES fields, I have been able to experience the field conditions firsthand. Seeing players injured due to these awful fields are unacceptable. The grass fields we are currently playing on cannot handle the amount of usage they are getting. Turf is a much more durable option. I feel if we go with the grass option as opposed, we will be right back here having this same meeting in 5 years. Please do what is best for our student athletes and vote for the turf option, which will provide a safer and more reliable playing conditions. Thank you for your time.
Aaron Myers?
Hi, my name is Erin Myers, and I just want to follow up on what Annie said. As a family who is affected by disabilities, the current state of the fields does not allow for a handicapped person to attend events, and it's really hard. And as a community member who cares about the same things as everyone else, sustainability, our kids, our fields, our safety, I think that there is a group that is just being ignored. And I've spoken with people about the ADA, and I know this isn't a place for questions, but my concern is, should this continue to be pushed? Should it not even make it to town meeting? What does our athletic season for 26-27 look like? Will we have stands? Will we have fans? I don't think people fully understand that the liabilities that we're looking at, it could result in loss of federal funding, lawsuits, and fields games with no spectators because they're not safe and they're not fair to all the people. So I just really think that we need to understand as a community, if the master plan is not approved, what's the next step? If we don't have ADA compliance, what happens? If we continue to push it, where's this money coming from? It's just the way it works right now. It's unacceptable and indefensible to continue to delay this for our kids and our community that's being overlooked.
Madden? Sure. I'll ask. Rich? Brannigan? Yes.
There's two Riches.
I know.
Richard Brannigan, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. First of all, I'd like to say I really appreciate everything that the community and the committee has gone through over these last couple of months. A lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of points on both sides of the equation, and it's all coming down to PFAS. That's what the issue is. It's the drinking water. That's been the issue for the last 5-10 years. It's a consequential decision that you guys are going to face tonight, and that the community and our student athletes are going to face in these coming months as we get to town meeting. As an antidote, I was just talking to one of my granddaughters, and she reminded me that she lost her junior year playing soccer when she went up for a head ball, and she came down and severely twisted her ankle, lost her whole year. Subsequently, she didn't have an opportunity to set the all-time record for goals scored here on Nantucket. She had a successful senior year, but she lost her whole junior year when she came down inadvertently on the Surfside field, grass field. Reading through all of the information that has been presented, listening to the presentations, those that I attended in person and those that I saw online, it's pretty evident that the decision that we're faced with is turf. It's safer, it's environmentally not as consequential as the dirt and the rain that's falling on the grass fields now. And I find it interesting that there's so much passion on this issue. That where was this interest and passion when the car wash went in across the street? Where do we think all of that water and clean detergents and wax, where do we think that's going? It's going right into the aquifer that everyone's talking about. So I think that the decision, with all of the information is presented, is the turf field, and I hope the community will take that decision, and we go forward to the various other groups. Now the health committee is going to weigh in on this. The finance committee will weigh on this, and hopefully the town at town meeting is going to weigh on this positively. And I appreciate the time to speak to you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
but I'm not going to speak the whole thing, so I'm just going to pass it out. There's a lot of...
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Adam Myers, and for those that don't know, I'm the soccer goalie, and I've taken my fair share of beatings, but not by opponents, by the field. My freshman year, we practiced and played on the NES grass fields. There was a point in the season where I dislocated my toe kicking the frozen solid ground, sprayed my ankle slipping in the mud on the goal line, dislocated my thumb because I was diving on a rough surface with no friction. And as the opponents tripped on a hole and fell on my extended leg, I pulled my glute. I walked around like a mummy, groaning in pain, limping around and covered in wrappings, but I still loved soccer. If I lacked that passion for my sport, it's very likely the grass field conditions would have made me quit. Last year, the girls' soccer team moved to the turf fields in Nobodere. I haven't been injured on the field since. If the school committee's purpose is truly to do its best for the student body and keep them safe, the goal of this renovation should be to provide a safe environment for our athletes to play on. I then go on in this essay of 18 lines of all my friends, peers, and others who have suffered season-ending injuries due to field conditions. I list Shelby Harriman, Alex Weisentanner, Edvin Valentikevicius, and so many more. The field conditions are no fault of the maintenance. They do everything they can to keep the grass healthy. In fact, they spend a lot of time and money to do so. However, it's just unnatural for the grass to host such lengthy practice hours. It was suggested we redo the grass fields every year to ensure the fields meet basic standards. However, there is no time due to the immediate start of lacrosse season after the ground thaws. It's important we support all athletes with the right facilities, the state-of-the-art technology in order to create a safe outdoor sports environment. Tonight is the voting, and with our over 300 signatures in support of the turf field and synthetic track, I can confidently say our athletes are tired of current worn-down track and fields. If we installed the turf, it would ensure the playing surface is permanently flat and even. Players could say goodbye to slippery, muddy practices. They would no longer have to worry about dust storms. Not only that, but turf can't freeze. So if installed correctly, the landing surface would be softer for the impact of boys lacrosse, football, etc. Installation of the turf would be costly. However, it's extremely low maintenance and would pay itself off in no time, allowing for maintenance workers to invest elsewhere and focus on redoing the field hockey fields, soccer fields, and other fields that constantly trigger injury. Although many claim the turf would bring cancerous chemicals to the island, there are many turfs claiming to be explicitly PFAS-free. The turf currently installed in Nobodere is tested each summer and has proven to have less PFAS than our rainwater. Lastly, sports are a huge part of the Nantucket community, with over 70% of students participating in sports. They teach discipline, teamwork, how to handle victory and defeat. They keep student athletes focused and out of trouble. Everywhere you go, you see a whale or W, a small symbol of how deeply ingrained athletics are in Nantucket's culture. Installation of turf fields would allow for high school sports to continue to benefit the community while keeping athletes safe and happy. That's all.
Is there any further? I'm sorry?
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, I didn't realize there was a clipboard. My name is RJ Turcott from Nantucket Land and Water Council. I'm the waterkeeper, and I was here during 2022 when this conversation was first being had about artificial turf installation, and it got tabled for a couple of years here. And the one thing that's been clear this whole time is that these student athletes need the best possible playing surface. There's no doubt about that. But one of the things that we had asked for specifically in 2022 that we never really got an answer on was the maintenance and what exactly was being done to maintain the field, how many hours, what the equipment was, because we weren't confident that a better job could be done. And we never got those answers. And we got information on usage and future projections, and we were still waiting to find out whether it was the best decision to move on to turf or if it was possible to continue to use natural grass given all the issues we've had. And we're still looking for those answers, and it's unfortunate because it's just costing us time, but this really needs to be done correctly. And this committee really needs to make a smart financial decision, especially going into a town meeting where we have our island home. And the town has been debating where this money is going to come from. This is not a cheap project, and you really need to vet this and make sure that it's indeed the best possible decision for student athletes, for the community, for water quality, for all of that. So I just wanted to reiterate that some of these things from 2022 still need to be answered. Thank you.
Thank you. One more? Yes, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa Weisentanner. Thank you so much for all of the time. I'm sure this is not easy for you guys, and it is genuinely appreciated. I just want to say last week I sat and listened to a lot of the conversations, as I have in all the other meetings. And a big part of the conversation, the word want, has come up over and over and over again. It's what do the students want? What do all the different components that are coming at this want? But the reality is, this is a need. Our school is growing. It's going to continue to grow. And if we don't make decisions that address the growth, not just now, but in the future, we just keep repeating the same problems. And it's not just on the athletic fields, it's inside the schools as well. Everyone's aware that the growth is something that is coming our way. It is here, and it's going to continue to happen. And these turf fields, the school cannot handle the amount of athletics that are happening and the growth of the programs that we want for our kids, all the benefits that they get from being part of a team. We need to provide them the facilities that support that now and going forward, so that we're not back here over and over and over again with the same argument, because it's not going to go away. The growth is happening. The kids want to participate. Parents want it, and they need it more than anything. So thank you for your thoughtfulness towards this and what's best for the kids going forward.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public comment is closed. So we'll move on to the superintendent's update.
Okay. If I may, through the chair, I'd like to move to the awards prior to the calendar. And I'm going to start off by asking the student recipients of this award for an apology, because as I left my office, I left the awards sitting on my desk. So I will share with you who the recipients are and congratulate them and tell you a little bit about each of them, but I don't have the actual award to hand to you. I will find you tomorrow in school. Thank you for your patience. Okay. So one of my most favorite things to do is present awards to very deserving students. And each year I get to do just that to 3 amazing seniors. The annual Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents Certificate of Academic Excellence is given to one student in the top 5% of the senior class who is in excellent academic standing, shows outstanding achievement, and is a model student. The student who was chosen as the recipient of this award is well known to the school community. She is a high-achieving student who is a self-proclaimed STEM fan. Her schedule this year includes a variety of AP and dual enrollment courses, such as biomedical engineering at Brigham Young University, This student has a very interesting career in mind as she aspires to become a NASA biomedical flight controller. You'll have to talk to her about what that really means. Aside from her passion for STEM, she is heavily involved in theater. She is the backstage manager for the high school drama club, has worked as a stagehand at Nantucket Performing Arts Center, and also volunteers her time at the hospital thrift shop. As a member of the National Honor Society, she acts as a tutor to other students and considers service to others as one of her most important core values. She always does her best to be a role model to younger students, and she's excited to head off to college, hopefully Amherst College or MIT in the fall. And I am very proud to present this award to our own Danielle Lewis. So I'll hand you the virtual award right now. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Congratulations. Okay, the National School Development Council Awards for Academic Growth and Student Leadership in Learning are given to two seniors who have consistently pursued a high level of academic effort, who have served as positive role models for the student body, and who exemplify admirable character and accomplishment. One of these recipients of this award is someone who moved to Nantucket from El Salvador when she was 7 years old. In her interview, she shared that this was a little difficult at first to adjust to her new life on the island. But after some time and lots of patience with herself, she started to see some great advantages and opportunities. Her most important goal is to become a nurse because, in her own words, we need more empathy in this world. She is not afraid to challenge herself with high-level courses like AP Bio and a dual enrollment course at Cape Cod Community College. She is a big sister to a wonderful little girl from NIS with the Big Brother, Big Sister program on Nantucket. Her core values are family, because they are always there for you, and kindness, because it is so important to know that when helping those, they might be dealing with difficulties in their lives. She is looking forward to attending college in the fall at UMass, BU, or Fairfield University. I am thrilled to present this award to Dayanara Garcia Turcios. Want to stand up? Yay, Dayanara. Thank you. The second NSDC award recipient is an energetic, ever-positive student who also has a passion for STEM, specifically AP Chemistry, which is his favorite class. He also loves math and is enjoying improving his culinary skills in Chef Proch's class. This student shared with me that he loves to build things that help people and dreams of becoming a mechanical engineer someday, possibly working with building prosthetic limbs and support devices. This student shared that he had an excellent experience as a research assistant to Dr. Hall from the Maria Mitchell Association in scalloping. His two most important core values that he learned from his mother are kindness and family. He hopes to go to BU, Wentworth, or WPI for college. I am very proud and happy to present this award to the ever-smiling Sayam Thapapanga. Thank you so much. It's always difficult to decide who gets these awards. We have such wonderful students, and these three are bound for success. So congratulations again, everybody. I don't know if there are any questions from the school committee before I move on to the school calendar. No. Okay.
Congratulations to all three.
Very good. Okay. So the school calendar you will find in your packet. This is version 3 of the Nantucket Public Schools school calendar for 2026-2027. I'll just highlight a few pieces here so that you're aware. The Nantucket Teachers Association did survey the members, and it's been a collaborative conversation between the administrators and the union to determine the best possible solution for a school calendar next year. You will notice that we will have our pre-service days starting on August 31st. So the contract that we currently have suggests that the pre-service days will be 3 pre-service days, but based on the fact that our Labor Day is so late in 2026, we have decided that it is best for us to start a day early. So we will be starting on Monday, August 31st, and continuing our pre-service days through September 3rd. Then you will see that there is not an additional 5th day in March, the way it is this year. So we will not be having that additional 5th day. That's only a half day. So a few other highlights here. I want to make sure everyone sees that the first day of school is the day after Labor Day, which is September 8th. We have a variety of half days, which are noted in pink on your calendar. In November, the November 25th day before Thanksgiving is a vacation day. So that is not a half day. In the original calendar, that was what we had put in temporarily. But that has now moved to a regular full vacation day for everyone. December 26th, we do hope the school committee will support a half day on December 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve, so that students and families can get off the island safely to celebrate with family. Our vacation weeks are the same, and our last day of school is June 23rd, with 5 potential snow days before the fiscal year closes on June 30th. So our administrative team and our union are in agreement that this is the calendar that they would like to see voted for approval today, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Any questions?
Not so much a question as a comment. We recently had a meeting, was it about 2 meetings ago, we agreed to make this coming December a half day?
Correct.
On the 23rd.
Yes.
So I think this is perfectly in line, so I don't have any issue with that. The calendar is fine by me.
Great. Other questions? Okay, then I will look for your vote. And that's all for now. So I turn it back over to you, Madam Chair. Dr. Hallett, through the chair? Yes. Scholarship? Oh, my goodness. Somehow that was not on the schedule. My apologies. We are also having the Adams Scholarship that is included as well. So, Ms. Hyland, would you mind? Thank you very much for reminding me of that. Thank you.
Hey, Chantal.
So before I start with the scholarships, I also want to mention that Danielle Lewis also won the Poetry Out Loud competition this morning. Congratulations! So correct me if I'm wrong, Danielle, but I think that means you now go to state competition. Regionals. Okay. Excellent. Congratulations for that. So it always gives me great pleasure to recognize the outstanding accomplishments of our students. It feels like sometimes that it's like a broken record because we have such great students, and I get to come and recognize our students at the school committee meeting, but also during other times, other events during the school year. But I never, ever get tired of shouting to the rooftops how wonderful our students are. So for the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship, this is a scholarship that provides tuition credit for Massachusetts public colleges, and it is a 4-year or 8 semesters scholarship. The qualification for the scholarship is based on MCAS scores, and yes, students will continue taking MCAS testing until there is a change possibly in another year or two, so this will continue. Students must score advanced in at least one of the state assessments, or and score advanced or proficient on at least one more. At this time, our students are required to take 3 MCAS assessments. The new scoring terminology is exceeding or meeting expectations. Students must achieve these scores when they take the assessment one time. Now you're like, oh, they're not going to take the MCAS again. We do have students who will retake an MCAS score even if they pass, or an MCAS assessment, for other reasons. For instance, if they decide that they want to do the seal of biliteracy testing, they have to score. They have to have a certain score on the MCAS testing in order to do that. They must also be ranked in the top 25% on MCAS assessments in the student's district, and students must also be a Massachusetts resident for at least 1 year. This is a merit-based scholarship, and students achieving this honor are to be commended and applauded. So before we move on to handing out the recipient letters, let me just say to students and parents, if you plan to attend a state college, please make sure that you hang on to this letter. It is like money. You will trade this letter in for the tuition at that state institution that you choose to go to. So we have 39 recipients this year. And a few are students that were students here but are now attending a different school, but I still want to call their names and recognize them because I do believe their families are still residents. So beginning with Brock Beamish, Carl Clark, Keepa Dangle. Keepa? No? We did have some off-island sports today, so we may not have all of our students here. Sharona Davey. James Dutra, Estella Grow. Dalina Garcia Sosa. Jacob Haneke. Charlotte Hoyleman. Alyssa Holgate. Cora Iller. Bianca Japp. Valen Genti. Maya Johnson at a swim meet. Clementine Kelly. Fiona Keltz. Andrew Kessler. Justice Keo McMighty. Andrew Lavin. Sutton Lebrecht. Danielle Lewis. Dorian Manoff. William Martin. Marin Mooney. Gabriella Nikolova. Sadie Patterson. Preslava Pinkova. Danina Pinova. Phoenix Ray. Layla Ray. Henry Ryden. Rose Rosales. Morgan Ryder. Weston Scott. Ryder Tardamella. Siam Thopamagar. Kashvi Thopamagar. Samuel Trott. Sophia Yelverton. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you, school committee, for letting us present these tonight.
Okay, we are moving on to presentations and discussions of issues to the committee. And we're no longer talking about the yonder pouches, I see. So we are moving on to discussion and possible vote on potential revisions to Vito Capizzo Stadium. So, discussion, comments?
Sure, why not? Through the chair.
Yes, please.
So, this has been fun. Been looking at both sides of this, trying to understand it all. We've listened to a lot of debate and discussion, and my favourite thing to do is write stuff down. So every school committee for the last number where there's been public comment on this topic, I've made a lot of notes. And it's roughly speaking come out differently in every meeting, but it's been about 4-1, 5-1, roughly speaking, generally in favour of turf. There's been a lot of bad feedback, sorry. Emotion around this. So what I like to do is I map things out, try and look at all the sides to it. One of the things that I can't help but think about is, yes, there's the science. I am a scientist. I looked at that. There's a lot of interesting research, there's a lot of incomplete research, and you have to weigh it and look at that subjectively. But that's not the only thing. We don't want to get into the trap of what we call in scientific writing. I've got a couple of papers published, and one this year is the trap of scientism, where you look at something and you say, science is the only answer. This is where we have to diverge and not just look at the science, but also look at, as, forgive me, Lisa Weisentier, sorry if I mispronounced, talked about need. It is need. So there's that whole aspect of how do we weigh the need. Well, I hate to say it, but students like Madden Meyer demonstrated that in pretty outstanding fashion, I have to say, and she is to be congratulated for that. So then there's the third thing we have to look at and rely on. The third thing that the school committee has to do is look at budgets. The longer this goes on, the longer we debate this, the more expensive it gets. So it's not just science. It's school need, student need, children's need, and economic relevance. So I have taken all that into account. I've done my little decision tree, and I'm pretty happy with where I've landed. So I would like to see what other people think. I don't want to just go ahead and straight up make a motion, but I've had so much on this. I've been contacted by so many people, and there is some fear. Fear can be fixed with education. And we have seen quite specifically that the PFAS issue is not there. We've seen quite specifically that there might be other concerns, but we have resolutions for those too. Then there's issues like microplastics, not even close to studied enough. But in science, you don't go with your fear, you go with the data you have. So that is something that is a potential issue, but I don't see how we can resolve it. And it's not just relevant to this one situation, it's relevant to literally every aspect of life that there is plastics in everything. So understudied, understood, but no, not insufficient data to use that argument. Financially, like what was it, a few years ago, this was in the $13 million range. Now it's in the $23 million range and going up at around 15% per year, roughly speaking, 12 to 15%, I think I did. We can't afford to wait, whether it's any of them, but if we want the best for the students, what they're specifically asking for, I think that is the most compelling of all the arguments.
Thank you. Esmeralda?
I don't have much to add, as Vince already stated it all.
Chantal?
I think I sit here still very much conflicted. You know, the argument that, and Vince, I think we agree on most things, and I think we generally agree on this topic, but that we have to go with the science that we know now. Fair. However, there was a science that we knew that lead wasn't harmful, but then look what we found out years later. So that scares me a little bit. And like you said, it's terrifying not knowing. But at the end of the day, we are elected officials. We're here to speak for what essentially our constituents want. And I think they've been very loud and very clear in what they want. I'm also concerned looking at what's being presented at town meeting and what this is going to be up against. I think ultimately that's where the largest part of my fear rests is, regardless of what we put forward, how well will it do at the end of the day? I guess that's kind of where I'm at. But I agree that we need to make a decision today, because it's not going to get any cheaper, and these kids deserve to have a field that they can be proud of and that they can truly be successful playing on.
Tim?
I like the ideas around the revisions. I certainly can see it should be handicapped accessible. I think we need a change in the concession stand. I think the field house and the bathrooms are essential changes. As a matter of fact, I agree with almost everything except the turf field. And I have specific concerns. Everybody negates PFAS, but then again, my grandchildren were poisoned with PFAS. So I tend to have a little bit of an edge about that. Secondly is the microplastics and nanoplastics, which were dealt with, I think, by saying that we're going to have a monitoring well. And I don't think that that is adequate. I think I would be very much in favor of a track, but I think I am opposed to the turf field. I think that we can do a better job with grass. I think we do not have enough money in the budget. I think it's something like 48,000 around dealing with improving our grass. So I agree with almost everything except the turf field. You can say, what about the car wash? Well, I don't control the car wash. We are potentially making changes that we're going to be stuck with. We had a children's crusade a few years ago and got rid of plastic straws. And now we're talking about putting down somewhere around 40 tons of plastic on the field, which is going to end up in the water. It's going to end up in us. And it is, I think, just a reach too far for me to vote for anything that involves a turf field. Everything else, or fields, because there was talk not only the football field, but the field hockey field. So I think that I agree with everything else, but those two I really have difficulties with. I did a little bit of investigation about where we would send the turf in 10 years. And we were assured that there was an outfit up in Rockport. Well, the outfit in Rockport consists of 4 people. And I think what they do is they strip the plastic and it gets sent, I believe, to Texas to get burned. So I have great difficulties with that, finding out that information. I think we have to be careful of making changes like this, and I appreciate the students' concerns, and I appreciate the student wants, but I don't think in the long term this is a good way to go. The field out on Nobodere Farm Road, I believe, has ground-up tires as the infill, and I think that is a dangerous mixture. We're not going to have it on the potentially field that will be voted in, but I'm not sure that anything is going to be better than grass. I would also like to know for sure what turf we're going to use. I sort of didn't come away with an idea or name of a turf. And I think I would like to see that turf get tested. I could potentially come around if I see it's PFAS free, but PFAS free covers a wide variety of sins. AstroTurf was proposed recently as being PFAS free, but then you read the fine print, it's 100 parts per million. And if you stretch that out to parts per trillion, the number becomes quite large. So I think we need to look at the turf people are proposing. I think we need to look at I think we have a responsibility if we're going to put 40 tons of plastic out here, how we're going to deal with it. And I think we need to look a little bit closer at microplastics, nanoplastics. I can tell you deer liver out here contains a lot of PFAS. I can tell you scallops contain PFAS. My concern is I don't think we need more of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I want to start this off. It's going to be a little bit of a longer than I usually talk, but thanks to the Nantucket community for showing up and supporting what you believe in.
Danielle, can you get closer to the microphone?
Is it still not on?
I don't think it's on.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Lepre will share with you.
Thank you. Okay, great. Can we all hear me now?
Yes.
Great. Okay, as I was saying, thank you to the Nantucket community for coming out and representing yourself. As the student representative, I don't think I would have ever gotten the point across as well as some people have. And frankly, just seeing all of the school children come out and really be motivated around a central issue has been something I never thought would happen. Like, I just want to point out that you're getting essays about this. This is like genuinely holding this and receiving it tonight. Thank you, Madden. I can see the work and hours you've put into this as someone who's writing and has written college essays. Like, this is a lot. And it's important for you to realize that I'm gonna come out and say it, kids are gonna get hurt either way. I know a lot of these names in this essay. I've had to support a lot of these people as they've gone through their injuries. If we're so worried about PFAS, if we're so worried about whatever else that turf might do to our community, we have to realize that frozen grass is hurting us probably worse. It's something that the student athletes need, and even though I'm off to college next year, even though we have people in the audience who are alums of Nantucket public schools, this can't go on, guys. It can't. Thank you.
Thank you. So I had a very different feeling when we talked about this. When was that? 4 years ago. And I think Dr. Lepre and I were aligned in our position. But after hearing from so many people and reading so much of the research, and to your point, Vince, so much of what you were saying has been very revealing. And I think the overall message is that it's not a privilege. Sports are not a privilege, they're a requirement. And I think that the most powerful moment for me was when I asked for a show of hands on who wanted turf and who wanted the synthetic track. And that was all the evidence that I needed in terms of my own decision. So I think we're at a point where, would someone make a motion?
I would
About-
like to make a motion to table this until we get more information. So you need a 2/3 vote to turn me down. And it's not discussable.
So, is it a roll call?
Sorry, can we get a clarification
Yes.
on what the point of the vote is?
It is to table this until we get more information that I spoke about.
And what would a yes and a no vote mean?
Yeah, I'm,
Well, first, you vote, it's a 2/3 vote. So
in,
the first thing is you vote on the motion to table, and that either goes up or down. If the motion to table passes, then this is set aside for the time being until we can bring it back. If the motion does not pass, then
so it's a
I
roll
shut
call
up.
then.
Can I ask another procedural question? If you're making a motion, does it not need a second?
Yes, it does.
It does
Yeah,
need a
so
second.
I haven't heard a second.
Is there a second?
I think we formally have to second it, just so we can take the vote. Do you know?
I'm over my skis here. So we do have to second it. It has to be seconded and then we vote on it?
This is also not what
It's a
I'm aware of.
question. It's a question.
The motion fails if there's,
There's got to be 2/3 vote to pass.
All right.
The motion to table. If it's less than 2/3, then
so we don't have a second. So can we then move on to a motion to amend?
If I
Am
may,
I
I think we
correct?
need some clarification.
We do, yeah. This
Um,
is,
Give me a second. Let's, may I
Please, yes.
have the clerk, do you have any ideas? Want me to try to call? Point of order?
Through the chair, motion to table does require a second according to Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah,
Thank
that's what
you.
I was trying to say. I'm like, we
Thank you.
can't
Thank you.
not second it.
Thank you.
do I have a second?
So I'll second it just so we can take the vote.
No.
It requires a second. Based on Robert's rule.
Yes.
If you don't have a second, it fails. If the motion fails and there's no discussion, no vote on it, that is Robert's Rules of Order.
So then we can move on and create a motion for this. Okay. All right, would someone like to create a motion on the potential revisions? Or I can do that.
I thought we had a second.
No, there was some confusion around it.
Okay.
And there still remains confusion around it, but we are clear, if there's no second, then that is over. So,
I think we kind of know how we would all. be voting.
agreed. So, I would like to make a motion to revise the current plan for the Vito Capizzo Stadium to include turf fields and a synthetic track.
Option 3, correct?
Can we add the caveat that whatever turf we decide to?
Yes, I hope so. I would like to make a motion to amend the potential revisions to the Vito Capizzo Stadium to include turf fields and a synthetic track. And what did you want to add?
That whatever, if ultimately this passes, whatever turf we decide to go with.
We're getting there.
We, get it independently tested. That's what,
As an amendment?
yes, for the recommendations from our consultants.
So, can Chantal add that amendment?
So I'm
Okay.
going to amend the motion just to add that whatever turf we do ultimately
decide on, that it be independently tested per the recommendations from our consultant, is all.
If I may, through the chair, can we get a very specific motion clear so that we can vote, so that you can vote appropriately? I can take the notes.
And then amend at a later time. All right, I'm going to give this motion again. So I make a motion that we amend the revisions to Vito Capizzo Stadium to include turf fields and a synthetic track.
Does that include the field hockey field?
Whatever field we're in.
That's in the master plan.
Is it in the current design?
I don't know if it's in the current
it's not in the
design.
current
If I may, it is not in the current design. Are you requesting to amend the revisions to the September 22nd, 2025 Capizzo Stadium renovation project presented to you that day?
Yes.
That was in September 22nd. So the
Yes.
amendment is to that plan, which does not include an additional turf field. It doesn't include, the field in question is the football field, current football field. Yes?
As presented as option 3, I think it was. If you're looking for a second, I would make that second. If you're ready.
Yes.
Are you?
Are we ready?
In that case, could Beth just read it back?
If I may, give me a moment to write this down, and then I will ask the chair to.
Yeah. That's my question. So we're just questioning what happens to the field, hockey field.
If I may, there is no plan to change the field hockey field at this time. Hold on.
Yeah, no, not you. You focus on what you're
Thank you. To include turf, synthetic turf.
And synthetic track.
Okay, to amend revisions to include that.
Madam Chair, can I ask a point of order?
Yes.
I just want to clarify, did Ms. Boyce second that original motion or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
You're never going to read my writing.
No, I can. And I mean, I feel like I've already said it, so we're good. Thank you. Oh, wow. Okay, yes. All right. Here is the motion. To amend revisions to Capizzo Stadium presented to the school committee on September 22nd, 2025, to change grass field to a synthetic turf field and the asphalt track to a polyurethane gel track. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion. Yes. No, now is the time, Shanta. What?
It doesn't matter. It's
Yes.
a reluctant yes.
So point of order, if I may.
Yes.
Somehow wants to make an amendment to what you just said. This is the time
Right.
for him to do it.
Yes,
Because you don't, there's no vote until there's discussion, and that's part of the discussion.
it is.
It's like it's missing.
Hang on. If I may, I'm going to make a slight adjustment here.
So Chantal's amendment about the testing, she would like to be included.
Yep.
chosen.
Yep. That
Turf chosen.
will actually. All right, try that.
Selected.
We have to do the whole thing.
Okay. Here's the
This is
motion.
the amendment.
Including the amendment. Motion to amend revisions to Capizzo Stadium presented to the school committee on September 22nd, 2025, to change the grass field to a synthetic turf field and an asphalt track to a polyurethane gel track, with the expectation that the synthetic track chosen to be
Chosen-
used,
If I may, chosen synthetic turf.
chosen synthetic turf that will actually be used is tested for PFAS by an independent company, lab.
So I'll second that motion. since I'm making it.
Thank you. Should we do a roll call?
Yes.
I think we should do
Yes. Vince?
Yes.
Esmeralda?
that. Yes.
Yes.
Is this on the amendment?
This is on the entire motion. Okay. Motion carries. Thank you all. Okay. Thank you all very much. Right. Committee discussions and votes to be taken. Yeah, I'm saying it out loud. Yeah. We will take a 2-minute recess.
Probably gonna be forced into it, but. Everyone's gone.
But there's vote to approve the changes to policy IKF, graduation requirements, and to adopt IKFE, competency. They're similar. Tim and I, with the policy committee, with Beth, read over these, and really it seems like there's a language change, but for the most part, they are very similar.
If I may, I'm happy to speak to this.
Thank you.
So in the packet, you will see IKF and IKFE included. IKF is our current active policy. The motion is to make the amendment on IKF to strike anything at the bottom around competency determination, because this will be included on IKFE. We received from MASC, Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents, a template IKFE so that it is much more clear rather than including it in IKF. So that's the recommendation, and we followed that recommendation. So IKF would strike the competency determination section at the very bottom, and that can be amended
right away. And then IKFE, which is directly related and referenced, is very specifically about competency determination. The general difference between what we had written in IKF prior to now is that there is some slight revisions and slight specifications around coursework. So I'm just going to read this for the public. The discussion around mastery is the situation that is a change, and there will be an additional subject brought into play, which is U.S. history. So I'm going to just read this carefully. I will not read the entire chart. I will summarize that. But a determination of competency shall include demonstrating a mastery of skills in English language arts, mathematics, and science, and the satisfactory completion of relevant coursework aligned to the standards measured by the high school English language arts, mathematics, and science MCAS assessments administered in 2023. The additional requirement for mastery in U.S. history will apply to the graduating class of 2027 and beyond. To show mastery, a student must successfully complete, in accordance with the district's grading policy or by any other appropriate methodology as may be determined by the school committee, number 1, a final assessment of a course, for a course, number 2, capstone or portfolio project, so this is one or the other, or an equivalent measure identified by the district's CD policy. So there is a chart that explains carefully what that means. English language arts, the coursework requirements are in the equivalent of 2 years of high school English language arts courses. In the original policy, we talked about English 9 and English 10. So the only difference is that this is a little bit more broad. This can be completed anytime in grades 9 through 12. For mathematics, the course requirements are equivalent of 1 year of both Algebra 1 and Geometry courses, or the equivalent of 1 year of both Integrated Math 1 and Integrated Math 2. So that's a slight change from ours, which was Algebra 1 and Geometry. In the science section, there is an added science subject that can be used for coursework mastery, and that is technology and engineering. Currently, in our own policy from before, we had biology, physics, and chemistry, and now we are adding technology and engineering. U.S. history, to begin with the class of 2027, must be it's the equivalent of a 1-year U.S. history course. So we have aligned courses as part of this policy, IKFE, and that is explained in this policy for English language arts, mathematics, science, and U.S. history. This policy also includes additional considerations for students with disabilities and for English language learners, and in the end, and late enrolling students. And there is an appeals process that is well described in this policy as well. The policy committee met yesterday and brought this favorably to you for review and vote.
And I just want to add, if it seems they've sort of replaced the word competency with mastery. That seems to be the language change as well.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
When you're ready. When I was reading it earlier today, I was curious about the last part of the competency determination where it talks about these enrolled in Nantucket Public Schools in the classes of 2003 to 2024. Was that updated or is that a new thing?
Wait, can you say that again?
Yeah, I know.
Because I know that part.
So, the sentence where it talks about those enrolled in Nantucket Public Schools in the classes of 2003 through 2024 that did not earn a diploma may also appeal the decisions through the following process. So does that mean people can have a look back of like 20 years?
Yes.
Is that new or is...
It's not new.
It was always there?
It was in the policy yeah. So, all in favor?
You need a second.
Oh, right. Do we have a second?
It's a motion to adopt. You're making.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Motion to adopt IKFE.
Second.
Any? Yes, okay. I feel like we've really lost the wheels. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Letter C.
Yes, thanks. Vote to approve the donation from the Russell family for $1,065.52 to Nantucket Intermediate School to be used for NIS library books.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote to approve the NIS grade 5 field trip to outdoor classroom, Yarmouthport, Mass, June 1 through 4th, 2026.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote to approve the donation from Friends of Nantucket Public Schools to Nantucket Intermediate School for $1,900 to be used for the grade 5, 2033 transportation to outdoor classroom.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote to approve the donation from the Nantucket Education Trust to Nantucket Intermediate School for $6,000 to be used for the grade 5 field trip to outdoor classroom.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote to approve the donation from 11 North Water Street, Brass Lantern for $600 to the NHS CPS Music Department's Disney field trip.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote to approve grant from the Community Foundation for Nantucket to Nantucket Community School for $28,500 to provide dignity index training to NPS staff.
So moved.
Second?
Is dignity index training.
So I did mention the Dignity Index work that we've been doing with the community school, also with the town of Nantucket. I shared that as part of the information that we received over the summer during the Paul J. Andrews Executive Institute by MASS. We have been fortunate to have an opportunity for different districts around Massachusetts to attend a 2-day training on how to incorporate the Dignity Index in its regular teachings, etc. A Dignity Index is an index between 1 and 8 that helps people understand how to communicate with each other with dignity. 1 means very low, meaning two individuals do not agree and could be considered mortal enemies. And then 8 is full respect and dignity for opposing views. And so we are learning how to incorporate this into our regular education as part of this. We are very thankful to the Community Foundation for this grant, and it will carry us. We have 6 trainers who will be trained.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Didn't we see this as part of a presentation, I want to say 4 weeks ago?
Yes, you did.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, where are we? Vote to approve transfers and invoices?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Danielle?
Lady of the hour.
Nope, I got nothing. We did it.
Subcommittee work group report. You just saw from Tim and I that we updated that policy and that you all approved. So anyone else, any subcommittee work?
Negotiations met.
Yes.
That opened.
Who's the education? Oh, not the education.
Cape Cod
Cape
Collab?
Cod Collaborative.
It says Merelda.
I have not seen any meetings posted. I'm on top of it.
All right,
But I haven't seen anything.
it's monthly, so, yeah, that's
I have not
odd.
gotten anything from Hope.
If I may, I'm happy to reach out to Hope Hanscom to find out when the next meeting is.
Thank you. I'm just looking at Katie, who's staring at me. Yes, but go ahead with, so negotiations have begun and,
Yeah, so negotiations kicked off last week, and we have our second meeting on Thursday.
great,
So
great.
we're getting going.
Anyone else? That's it? Okay. Agenda for the next meeting.
So on January 6, 2026, we will obviously look at student enrollment. We'll provide a bullying update from each school. We begin our budget planning. So you will hear about budget development from facilities and grounds, IT tech, athletics, and an ESL update. So that will be for the next. And, excuse me, and the Yonder,
Oh, right.
which was tabled this meeting, but will be at the next agenda.
All right. All right. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Is this for us?
Yes, these are for you.
Thank you.
For
So
you.
thoughtful.
And I have cards.
Oh, thank you.
I remember the cards, but I forgot the certificates.
Oh my gosh, you know what? Everything you said was lovely. I'll be there. So, thank you so much, Beth.
You're welcome.
What is a funny smell?
Danielle.
Yeah, I've been at most of the